I want to welcome you back to BLACKSITE tonight. We're going to talk about Michelle Obama's new podcast with her brother Craig Robinson. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. Michelle Obama has a new podcast with her brother Craig Robinson called Higher Ground. I'm surprised that Michelle has gotten into a podcast. She didn't look like the type of person who would get into this area which has so many people joining it right now. And her brother were coming in basically with a different type of launch. They talked about on their first podcast how they grew up in Chicago on Euclid Street. Some of the things that you could have read in her book. Her brother, who was a former basketball coach, and their travels through life and how they have become so successful and how they have leaned on each other in tough times. But the reason why I really think that this podcast was launched, especially after the Trump election, is that basically Michelle is trying to keep black people on the Democrat plantation for 2026. We don't know how this Democrat Party functions behind the scenes, but the most popular Democrat in the country, possibly right now, is Michelle Obama. And to have her face out there to the public every day, to them, they believe it helps their message. Their ratings wasn't that good, but that was just the first podcast. You got to remember, so many people have joined this area. It's such a limited space for people at the top. You know, Michelle and her brother, as you saw her brother, they don't have yet the gravitas with the grassroots right now. The grassroots on the left is very, very progressive and very, very left right now. You can see what's going on within the Democrat Party. They're eating their own. Right now, it seems like they want to get rid of Chuck Schumer after supporting the Trump budget that had just passed and averted basically a government shutdown. So many Democrats are mad at him. But Michelle Obama seems like someone they believe that could unite the Democrat Party and possibly lead them to a 2026 takeover the House in the Senate, which usually happens in a midterm election. But Michelle Obama has her agenda. Her agenda is a little bit more centrist than the left agenda. But one thing you never hear Michelle Obama, her brother, her friends talk about is the reparations agenda. You never hear her and Barack Obama talk about reparations for ADOS and FBA. So that tells me that they're still on the team of WS, the team that is against us receiving a check. Why won't they speak on this issue? Because those behind the scenes, those in power, those who make sure that they get their checks every month, tells them you could talk about everything else. You could talk about the LGBTQ. You can talk about migrants. You could talk about Medicaid, Medicare. But one thing you bet not talk about, they told Michelle and Barack, you bet not talk about reparations. But you'll never hear that. And that's what could put the Democrat Party back on the map, back into power if they support getting that reparations agenda. Soon as they get in there, sign that bill and start cutting us some checks. And they will have the black vote. But they don't understand that. They don't care. All they care is about the agenda that is put in front of them by those who are the supporters of the Democrat Party. And the two biggest things they care more about is that LGBT thing and trying to fill the country full of migrants. So I want to understand this. What is this podcast really for? Is it for to get Democrats in power? Is it basically to help Michelle get ready for 2028? I don't know. But there's a lot of podcasts out there where people can turn to and get the same message, the same agenda from the Democrat Party and for the left. I don't know what this is all about because she has enough money. She's damn near a billionaire with her and her husband. So it has to be something bigger than just this podcast. Podcast now leads to elections. They saw what happened with Trump, with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, in which they use podcasts instead of using the mainstream media, using ads. Remember, Trump walked into that election with $350 million. Kamala Harris had over $2 billion and lost the election. But what did he do? He used YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. He used his podcast. And now it seems like everybody, you see all the Democrats jumping on, trying to get into a podcast, trying to get on podcast shows instead of using the mainstream media because you can reach more people on these social media sites than you can use on CNN and MSNBC and the three networks. So they see this now as building a foundation for future runs, possibly in the Senate, the House, governors, or something of that nature, or just trying to push a new agenda. And it seems like this is what Michelle is going to use this podcast, this avenue, to reach millions of Americans that she possibly didn't reach when she was out campaigning for Kamala Harris. And now her and her brother are a team. I didn't think they had I didn't think they had a lot of personality. I didn't think they had the gravitas in this podcast, but we'll see because that was only the first. If you keep it going, you get better, your audience grows, we'll see what truly happens. But it seems like it's just something bigger than them making a few dollars and trying to spread agenda. Something else might be put into plans in the near future. And you know what I'm talking about. A possible run for the presidency. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. I want to thank you for listening to BLACKSITE. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button, but also share this video.